All right, y'all, today we're diving into the messiest scandals I've seen in a while. FS1, home to Undisputed, Speak for Yourself, and other sports shows, is being rocked by a massive lawsuit. A hairstylist named Noushin Faraji is suing the network, claiming for years of harassment, retaliation, and abuse. This story is wild, filled with power struggles, alleged affairs, and straight up workplace drama. Let's break it all down from start to finish. Noushin Faraji started working at FS1 part-time back in 2012 as a hairstylist. Back then, she worked with a rotating cast of personalities, including Joy Taylor, who was just a floater at the time. Joy's job was to fill in as a moderator whenever one of the main hosts was out, but she wasn't satisfied with that. She had her eyes set on something bigger, a permanent role on Undisputed, a show launched in 2006 with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Now, Faraji and Joy became friendly, even hanging out more outside of work, and in May 2016 they met for drinks in Santa Monica, where Joy brought along Charlie Dixon, a high-ranking FS1 executive. Dixon, who oversaw the network's entire production lineup, covered the bill and bought drinks for the group, and Faraji noticed their body language and suspected that Joy and Dixon were messing around. Yeah, she was getting her cheeks clacked by old man Charlie. This was a bold move considering that Joy was married at the time and her husband was living back home in Miami while she worked in California. When it came to hire a moderator for Undisputed, Dixon pushed hard for Joy to get the job, but Skip wasn't having it. Joy even showed up to their dinner meeting dressed provocatively, trying to charm her way onto the show, basically offering Skip the poo nanny on a platter, but Skip still said no. Determined, Dixon begged Skip to give her a shot as a favor, and Skip reluctantly agreed.
That Joy Taylor slept with Charlie Dixon while both of them were married to separate people in order to help Joy Taylor get a prominent role as the host of a show with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Charlie Dixon makes all of the content decisions at FS1. And after hiring Skip Bayless in 2016 and wanting to launch the show Undisputed, he tapped on Joy Taylor, kind of an unknown individual within the media space. She was just a small-time Miami radio host and TV host, to be on the show with Skip and Shannon. Skip Bayless originally did not want Joy Taylor on the show as the host. He wanted somebody with more experience, but Charlie Dixon convinced them after explaining to him that he needed this favor.
Around this time, Joy's husband found evidence of her affair with Dixon. Unsurprisingly, their marriage ended in a divorce, and Joy secured her spot on Undisputed. Now, that wouldn't be the last time that Joy lost a significant other due to Dixon and their relationship. Joy would later on be engaged to former NBA player Earl Watson, and Earl and Joy would be engaged to the point where they were already making wedding deposits and spending money for the big ceremony. And Earl would figure out, after having a double date with him and Joy and Mr. Dixon and his wife, that there was something going on. He finally found out the truth, and he threatened to go public with the whole thing, which would have been a big scandal at FS1 and hurt the reputations and careers of Mr. Dixon and Joy Taylor. So Mr. Dixon cashed Earl Watson out, refunding all of his wedding deposits, and sent him on his way. Now, another story that intrigued me was that Mrs. Faraji said that she noticed another relationship developing between Joy and Emmanuel Acho. She said that the same way that she found out about Joy and Dixon, she found out about Joy and Acho. She went to go eat, and she had another guest with her, and she was cozied up, having an intimate situation, and she wondered, what's going on here? She then went to work and saw Emmanuel Acho moving throughout the building, and she realized that, oh, he works here too. So she then went to Joy and said, hey, you should be careful, because we all know that Charlie Dixon is not gonna like that you're messing with another man in the building.
4 years later, a very similar situation happened with Emmanuel Acho and Joy Taylor. In February 2020, Miss Taylor asked Miss Faraji to meet her for lunch in Beverly Hills. When Miss Faraji arrived, she found Miss Taylor with a man, Emmanuel Acho. A few months later, Miss Faraji realized that Mr. Acho worked at Fox Sports. A few months later, after meeting Mr. Acho at lunch, Miss Faraji actually noticed him in the hallway while at work. She then went up to Joy Taylor and said, "Did you know that he works here?" And she said, "Yeah." And she wants Mr. Acho to eventually recommend her for the show Speak for Yourself that Emmanuel was on. Now this is where it gets crazy. Miss Faraji says, "Hey, you should not be doing that. I don't recommend you doing that. You already did it with Mr. Dixon. He's gonna be mad." And then Miss Taylor said not to worry about it. She explained that she was also now powerful, and once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would follow through on her plan to tell the company that he forced himself on her. She would not allow herself to be forced out by Mr. Dixon like other woman talent. She was pretty much planning a Me Too. Even though it appears that it was a consensual relationship, maybe a quid pro quo, as they say.
And she responded so coldly that, hey, I now have just as much power as the men in this building. And if Mr. Dixon wants to try to fire me like he fired the rest of these nincompoop peon bird brain ass bitches, then you know what? I'm gonna say that he forced himself on me and I'm going down with the ship. Damn, that's cold, man. And you know what? Unfortunately, Joy was really one of the guys. She was playing the game the way that the guys played it. She played it severe, there were no rules, and she was willing to take it to hell if you were willing to take it low. And guess what? Joy would later get on FS1's show Speak, where she didn't only just play moderator and her opinions didn't matter. They actually valued her on the show, where she would say her opinions and get just as much talking time as the guys, the former sports players, coaches, and NFL legends in general, while little old her, who was just a commentator, got to say what was ever on her mind.
Just got done with rehearsal for the new show Speak, and I got to take a moment to shout out my co-host Joy Taylor. A woman, a black woman, daily show, sports. Do you all realize how hard it is to get into the position that she is in? So often there's misogyny and sexism running rampant in sports, and we don't even care what women have to say in sports. But Joy is not only in the position on television as a woman, as a black woman, but as an opinionist. So not just asking men what they think, but providing her own unique and distinct insight. It's hard to do, and Joy, you have done it. So congratulations. Looking forward to working with you, and hope y'all tune in 4:30 to 6 Eastern every day starting next week.
But truly, in the sports industry, I do not know anyone that is more impressive in every way, shape, or form than the one and only Joy Taylor, ladies and gentlemen.
If the seats were high, or if a man took you this place on a first date, what you would do. And I'm telling you, like, every interaction that I have with people now, in some way or another, these things come up. Can we just keep it a buck? If they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want, fine, funny, fucking money, you're throwing all boundaries, standards, all that shit you talked on Instagram about how you would never, and this woman ain't because women this and men this, you're moving forward with this person.
Let's go to 2017. At Joy's birthday party in 2017, Faraji alleges that Dixon groped her while they were standing near the bar. He placed his hand on her lower back, slid it down, and grabbed her buttocks. Oh, what's happening, YouTube? It's your boy Big Just. Now listen, man, 97% of y'all are watching my video, but you're not subscribing. Now that's a head scratcher, because when I actually look at the returning viewers, it's thousands of y'all that are coming back and watching more and more videos. So I need y'all to get with the other 3% and learn how to follow some goddamn directions. Hey, I'm just saying, help a brother out. Or I'm gonna have to start helping myself out. See you at your house. Faraji, horrified, pretended to take a phone call to get away. When she confided in Joy about the incident, Joy told her to get over it and warned her, do not cross Dixon. Joy reminded Faraji that she only had her job because of her, and she essentially only had a job because of Dixon, and he could threaten to take both of their jobs, and it would be a risk to take action. By this point, Dixon's behavior was no secret. Faraji heard from an anonymous female talent member named in the lawsuit who claimed that she was fired after refusing to sleep with Dixon. This anonymous source told Faraji to be careful and shared that Dixon was doing the same thing with other women at Fox. When Faraji brought up this to Joy, Joy dismissed it. She said no one cared. This was the moment that Faraji realized how deeply Fox enabled Dixon's behavior. Now let's talk about Skip Bayless. According to Faraji, Skip spent years making inappropriate advances toward her. This included lingering hugs, suggestive comments, and even calling her voluptuous. Faraji didn't know what that term meant, being that English is her second language, and when she went and asked somebody and they told her, she was mortified. By July 2021, Faraji revealed that she was dealing with potential ovarian cancer, hoping that Skip would back off of her. Instead, he offered her $1.5 million to sleep with him. When she declined, Skip doubled down, saying, "The more you say no, the more I want you." She also noted that Skip would give lingering hugs, and it would be pelvis to pelvis. No, not the church hugs, where it's just shoulder and shoulder touching. No, he wanted to get intimate. He gave those old man freaky hugs where he put his manhood on her pelvis, her chest to his chest, and then he would seal it with a long lingering kiss on the cheek. Allegedly, when Skip made one of his advances, Miss Faraji would tell him, "Hey, you know you're a married man. I can't mess with you." And he would say, "Hey, aren't you Muslim? Didn't your dad have 3 to 4 wives?" And she would indicate, after being offended, that her father was dead.
After the advance, Miss Faraji said, "Skip, stop, you have a wife." Mr. Bayless responded, "Aren't you Muslim? Doesn't your dad have 3 to 4 wives?" Miss Faraji responded that her father was dead. And when Mr. Bayless looked taken aback, she made it an excuse to leave.
Skip later accused Faraji of sleeping with Shannon Sharpe. Now this accusation came up top from Dixon, saying that Shannon Sharpe told him about Faraji's private parts. Now Skip confronted Faraji angrily, accusing her of effing Shannon and even bringing up private conversations she had with Shannon about her personal life. Now here's where things get messier. Around the time of Shannon Sharpe's unexpected exit from FS1, rumors started swirling. Some believe Dixon pushed Shannon out as a part of a plan to get rid of Skip Bayless, especially after the relationship soured. You see, allegedly, Faraji would report Dixon to HR, and HR would do nothing about it. After learning that, Mr. Dixon would try to coerce Skip Bayless into tactics and teaming up against Miss Faraji to get her fired. Skip, probably having real feelings for her, still wanting her to be around, and maybe still having a little bit of a heart left, refused to do it. And that's where they say, "Hey, I giveth and I taketh away." Allegedly, the plot to take away Undisputed started. Now, Shannon's departure was a major blow to Undisputed, with ratings taken almost immediately. Skip's contract was not renewed, and he eventually left the network altogether. Before leaving, Skip reportedly told Faraji to sue FS1 and Dixon for everything that they put her through, not realizing he'd be named in the lawsuit as well.
As Kenny points out, the whole timeline for Skip was insane. He allegedly went from begging her / offering $1.5 million in 2022 to convincing her to sue Fox in 2023, and then got sued himself in 2025. Matt Eberflus, level game management from Skip. Good joke. I also want to say the 1.5 million accusation, that's crazy money.
After returning from medical leave for a back injury, Faraji noticed her hours being cut, a move she claimed Dixon used to push women out. Faraji started documenting everything, recording conversation, saving texts, and keeping a journal. She actually alleges that being that Skip did not want to join forces to get her out of the paint, Dixon went to none other than Joy Taylor, and they joined forces to get her fired, claiming FS1 needed more diverse hairstylists. They hired 2 black hairstylists and pushed Faraji out, ending her time with the network. Now my final thoughts are, let's talk about all of this mess. FS1 is looking bad right now. If even half of these allegations are true, they've got some serious explaining to do. Dixon, if you're out here harassing women, firing them for refusing you, and abusing your power, lawsuits and possibly criminal charges are coming your way. Joy Taylor, if you really slept your way to the top and threw other women under the bus to protect yourself, you're literally making it harder for women to be taken seriously in the industry. Who knows what's gonna happen to you, and who knows in the future who wants to deal with you. Not every woman is out here trading their integrity and they poo nanny for a position. Skip Bayless, I'm not surprised, bruh. Skip has always came across as an odd dude, a little freaky man. But if these allegations are true, your career is done. You'll be stuck running your online show on YouTube and dodging lawsuits. And let's be real, bruh. If you were willing to drop 1.5 million for one night with someone, man, you should have hit up Figueroa right there over there in South Central, boy. You could have saved you a lot more money. You could have spent $100. You hear me? At the end of the day, this all boils down to an abuse of power. This is why workplaces have HR departments and harassment policies, but let's not pretend like those systems always work. People in power think that they're untouchable until the receipts start rolling in. So what do you think? Are these allegations legit, or is it just another case of drama spiraling out of control and a woman looking for a check? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like, share, and subscribe. And remember, keep your workplace professional, because what you do always comes back around 10, 20, even 30 years later. Ask Bill Cosby. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. This is the LaFleur Lounge, where we break down drama, the facts, and everything in between. I'll catch you next time. Bull!
Just LaFleur.
It's him.